are these people?
If you live anywhere in like the East Coast that's not Florida, you're probably realizing that it hasn't rained in a while. We had a record dry October all the way from Texas up through Massachusetts.
Okay.
And you can see that basically everywhere it was either the all-time driest October and or the all-time driest month ever, okay? And what this means is wildfires, first of all, that all the trees dry up faster without being watered, and that requires more water that is not
Watered.
that is not falling from the sky. All right.
Of
So
rain.
this is from Climate.gov, a very unbiased news source, because it's from the government, because the government never tells a lie. But in this case, it's straight fact. October 2024 has gone into the record books as the all-time driest month on record for nearly 80 climate stations across much of the eastern half of the country. Among these, several include these different cities. An additional 50 climate stations reported their all-time driest October on record. And then we've got some other locations that are listed there, which you can see on the map. If you live anywhere there, you probably have noticed that it's been pretty friggin' dry. All right? That we haven't had but one rainy day. So, following heavy rainfall from Hurricane Helene, the weather pattern across much of the central eastern United States was dominated by ridging in the upper atmosphere, and then it gets really geeky because it's climate stuff, not weather, but climate. Reef, as you were going off earlier, that people still need to look at the difference between weather and climate. All right. Number of locations saw over 30 days without any measurable rainfall, which is fairly rare, especially in October. It means at least 0.01 inches of rain, which is like nothing. All right. So this has been going on, and because of it, what has been happening is wildfires. Not just in the Northeast or in the East, but also in California. And this one I didn't really hear about.
These aren't like the Hallmark movies about horses. It's not those kind of wildfires.
Oh, I wish they were. But
burning and
mountain fire in Ventura County. All right, in SoCal on Wednesday. Oh, I guess I need to share my screen with you so you can see what everybody else is seeing. Do you see what they see? All right, screens. This one. Okay. As of Sunday morning, the fire had engulfed over 20,000 acres and was considered only 21% contained. All right, so this became really personal to me. Now, I don't live in Southern California, and I've seen articles like this for years. All right. And we've reported on it many times. We reported on the Paradise Fire that literally just burned a town to the ground. All right. Yep. So as of Sunday, the fire had engulfed, like I said, 21% contained. Dozens of nearby schools and colleges canceled classes as a precaution. 24 roads closed. Boil water advisories happening. Structures used by the Crestview Mutual Water Company were destroyed by the fire. That's kind of funny, in a way, ironic. The company, this is what's messed up here, is that these volatile organic chemicals, these are what we're worried about. All right. These conditions have caused harmful contaminants. All right. We need the Wally sound. All right. Harmful contaminant, including benzene and other VOCs, to enter the water system. Statement continued, bottled water should be used for all drinking, including baby formula and juice, brushing teeth, and making ice and food preparation until further notice. Which, of course, they're not providing you in place of your water bill, no. Go get water. Good luck.
Okay.
Good idea. I think that's almost trolling the people in Southern California.
A bit.
But sorry.
Apologies.
Sorry.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Situation's
I love you so much.
It's become so dire that the admin of Governor Gavin Newsom secured a fire management assistance grant from FEMA to bolster the state's inadequate firefighting resources because they didn't have enough prisoners, I guess, to put on planes.
Yes. Yep.
Didn't you report on that?
Y'all forgot that shit happened.
Prison
It might have been you.
Prison labor, firefighting.
Mm-hmm.
The fire
I think that was you.
continues to spread despite the fact that 48 pieces of firefighting equipment, along with 9 helicopters and over 100 personnel from 19 countries, have already been deployed to fight it. 100 people? It seems like an awful not lot of people considering the size of that fire, but okay.
Whatever.
This is the 9th such time this year alone that the governor has sought the FEMA grant after he requested support for the state's emergency response to the airport, bridge, Boyles Line, Borel Park, Hardawin, French, and Thompson fires. This sounds like the 10 plagues, honestly.
Well, wait till we get the locust storms. Those will be nice.
Well, was it wildfires, locusts, blood? That's not the one
gay
that I'm
frogs.
worried about. I'm worried about the last one, most importantly. But
Don't be the firstborn, bro. That's how you get around that.
I am, and second of all, I have. So, 10 people suffered non-life-threatening injuries as of this writing, with no deaths yet reported.
What happens? Okay, with the firstborn thing, I mean, twins are only like by time, I guess. Like whoever came out first, I guess, would have got it.
They could also
I don't know.
technically
The
go
Bible
with both.
didn't.
They would go by
Sure.
both.
Yeah,
that would be
right. Why not both?
my concern.
Yep.
All of it would be my concern, naturally, but yes. It's a silly, stupid argument because it's all made. It's all fake and made up.
What's up with that?
What's up with that is that it's all fake and made up.
Yeah.
Although temperatures have dropped in recent weeks, strong gusts of what are known locally as Santa Ana winds fueled the spread of the fire. Oh, the Santa Anas. There was a movie, Jack Black famously laughed about the Santa Ana winds with Gwyneth Paltrow, maybe?
Santa Ana winds. Sounds like a euphemism.
While the winds began subsiding Friday morning, giving firefighters a chance to gain ground, meteorologists predict that they could resume in force by the middle of this week. Yuck. Fire conditions have also been exacerbated by an unseasonably warm summer in which the region experienced extended periods with triple-digit temperatures. Yes, it was very hot, especially in California. A much higher than normal winter rainfall did little to offset an explosion of wildfires in the summer and autumn periods. In fact, on a global scale, the summer of 2024 was, let's say it again, folks, say the line, the hottest in recorded human history.
For a few seconds, this place was Armageddon.
The hottest in recorded human history so far, son.
Uh-huh.
Come on, that's the Homer line. According to the EU's Copernicus Climate Change Service, the global average temperature in the Northern Hemisphere was a record-breaking 62.24 degrees Fahrenheit. No, I don't
round that up.
I don't see any problem there. All right. The high temperature were particularly alarming to climate science researchers who found that the rising temperatures exceeded even some of their most pessimistic models. Because all the fucking Republicans went out and bought gas-guzzling fucking Hummers and pickup trucks, right?
Yeah, it has to be that. It couldn't
Forget what the military.
Right? Yeah, military.
Forget what the military's doing.
And
you
know, all the power production companies, all that fun stuff.
Right?
So,
All the top 100, biggest corporations in the world that are responsible for 70% of the pollution combined with the military. Right. We're gonna plastic straws are the problem, everyone. Though they're not good. Cardboard straws suck. I'm gonna say that for the record.
Yeah.
All right. Despite these alarming trends, here we go with the world socialists. Here come the trots. The incoming Trump administration has indicated that it will completely roll back even the meager climate change measures installed by past administrations, only the one since his last one, following an interview in August with Elon Musk, where Trump stated that global warming was a hoax. Well, no, but some of the ESG movement is not a hoax, but a corporate cash grab in order to keep a certain group of people employed. That doesn't really solve the problem.
Including Elon. Like I love how we went from one climate change capitalist to another climate change capitalist. Like
you mean because Tesla made money for years selling offset carbon
as well as
to car companies?
What's his fucking but also his solar fucking thing that he was doing.
He's not
and the Boring Company.
Well, he's not against solar still, but he's just not against drilling.
No, I know that.
Drill, baby, drill.
Yeah. Yes, I'm talking about Elon is like making loads of money off climate change stuff with like, was it Solar City is his company or he's part owner? He may have sold all that crap now.
I think he might have.
But he was heavily invested for that, plus the Tesla itself.
But what about the solar
SpaceX?
Roof? What about the solar roof and the power
that's
wall?
his stuff.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's all Tesla stuff.
That's Tesla.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he knows that you got to fix the grid somehow, but I think he wants to profit in fixing that grid, which now having access to Trump, that's going to be able to do much easier.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the EPA, the Interior Department, and NOAA, which also are probably all slated to either be eliminated or drastically defunded, not only as sobs to the fossil fuel industry, but as part of the ruling elite's attack on science and scientific thought more generally. That is speculation and fear-mongering until it happens. Trump has also threatened to withhold disaster aid to the state of California if it fails to loosen endangered species and other environmental regulations. Again, threatened but not actually done. During his first administration, Trump has already withheld such aid to the state of Washington and successfully delayed aid requested by Gavin Newsom, who's a whiny bitch that overspends way too much and requests way more federal aid probably than is required in some cases.
Plus all that's going to anti-homeless crap anyway. So, it's not like the actual, national parks of California and Washington are actually receiving the money that the was them. I can tell you that firsthand.
Right?
Those people are bubble gum and duct taping things together at those parks. I guarantee it. Please go help out the people at your local national parks, state parks, whatever. They need help. I guarantee it.
Right? So like I said, this started to really hit close to home because as I was so this happened in California, and this article continues, and it's a good one by World Socialist website, so go support them and check them out. As I'm in Florida last week and we're about to fly home, I get a text message. I'm outside and I get a text message from my wife that like some people are starting to freak out and they're talking about this in a Facebook group locally, and that somebody said like there's something going on. So here's what happened was that there a wildfire like pretty close to my damn house, like within 15 miles from my house, let's say. All right. Now it's 100% contained, but it wasn't for a while. And 4 days, including the day that I came home last Sunday, it was really bad. And people were worried. People in my town were worried. And people were worried they could smell it. And we can still smell smoke like now. Like I walked out of my house today and I still smelled smoke because one of the fires, not just this one, but there's another one in West Milford. The West Milford fire was only 90% contained. Now, remember they said 21% contained? That means not at all. All right? 90% contained. They've got it under control. They're probably going to have it out next time they can get some more manpower and water or whatever up there that they need. But no, not this one. That was the one in South Jersey. Someone was smoking out the window, literally threw a cigarette butt and caused a 150-mile wildfire. All right. Angel's far enough away from that he did not smell the smoke. All right. But this one, the wildfire originally doused Friday night before it sparked again Saturday. As of Sunday night, no structures were threatened, thankfully. All right. But what we were told was that there was a mountain that had been coated in fiberglass by DuPont, and because of it, there were toxic chemicals that were burning off. So what you were smelling wasn't just smoke, but toxic chemicals. But of course, the government wasn't talking about any of that. Nobody told you shit. But people who lived here...
No, God!
Yes.
No, God, please, no! 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 No!
People who've lived here a long time were worried, for sure. And they were trying to sound the alarm and say something. And then they were called crackpots and fearmongers by all the Karens and crazy people that are just begging and praying that this didn't happen. So we got a breaking now here.
The wildfire in Pompton Lakes is now completely contained. That's according to the New Jersey
Pompton Lakes
Forest
wildfire
Fire
now
Service.
completely
The wildfire
contained.
was originally doused Friday night. It sparked again Saturday. Officials say it burned 181 acres. No structures currently threatened, and Cannonball Road is now open again. The cause of the fire remains under investigation.
Cannonball Road.
All right, so that was just a quick thing from the local thing. But not only that, now they're talking about that more wildfires, that there are hot spots, and now they need the public to help them find them. So again, forest fires in West Milford, and that's what I was smelling as I walked out of my house today. I can still smell the shit.
Bro, how can you not? You keep passing over West Milford like that's not a hilariously funny name for a town. You know? Like... This is West Milfville. Yay. Like okay.
West Milford is like in the middle of northwestern New Jersey.
Nowhere.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm in the middle of nowhere and it's 30 miles northwest of me. There's a state forest up there. It's beautiful. It used to be that land was cheap and then everybody kept moving further north and west. And now it's as expensive as the town that I lived in 10 years ago. But now it's got, people don't do their homework into the history of the area when they move up there. They just find cheap land and cheap place to live. They're like, fuck it, dude, I'll live there. Until something like this happens, and then you learn about what happened. You're like, God damn. Now what? So the panic that happened... In my one, I love my wife so much, but she was worried, what do we do? We went through the options of, do we just stay in Florida for a couple extra days and let this thing blow over and let them put it out? Well, the kids are supposed to be in school and we don't want them to miss school, and that they score you as much as they're scoring your kids on attendance about truancy and shit. And I don't want to, whatever. And so we're not going to change our flight. That wasn't really possible anyway. So I was thinking back to the story that we did in Conyers, Georgia. And what was the first thing that they were advised to do other than get their blood checked was to make sure that their houses were filtered and that they had working HEPA filters on their HVAC systems, and that the air that was in their house was as clean as they could make it.
Yeah.
So I hopped over to Amazon, boo, but I needed it there that next day. So, my house has not, thankfully, smelled like smoke at all since last Sunday, but I can't say that about many other places where I live, including the school my kids go to. Like they don't even have the budget to buy a cheap air purifier for a room. Because first of all, they got to buy it for 50 rooms, which doesn't make it cheap. And then every school in the district has to buy them. And we have a pretty large school district. So that was West Milford. All right. And yes, and I don't know why you think that's funny, but
it has the word MILF in it. That makes it funny. That's why.
Orange County is the border of West Milford. All right. Yeah. Is Sterling Forest. Like, isn't that like Robin Hood, Sterling Forest?
Sherwood.
That's Sherwood Forest. Okay. Thank you.
Nottingham Forest or whatever, I guess.
All right. So, Sheriff of Nottingham. No. But, so Sterling Forest State Park, fire is boxed in by fire lines, 88% contained over there. Again, that's part of this Jennings Creek fire that is part of West Milford, and so it's New York, New Jersey border, up in the mountains, and I can smell that smoke at my house right now. And the point of all of this is between Conyers, Georgia, and between what's going on here, is this can happen anywhere, and your area can end up affected by something overnight. This is why we talk about East Palestine. It's why we talk about Lahaina. It's why we talk about Conyers. And thankfully, TLAV, again, shout out to Ryan Christian, because not many people have continued to talk about what happened in Conyers, the problem with the dioxins in the air in Conyers, and what it's doing to people, and that people are still getting sick. Oh, look at that. We got crab people in the house. What's up, crab? INN's Big Mad Crab. Thank you for the new suit. Thank you very much. Hold on, let me hit you with something there.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
I figured, look, guy's gonna be there for a while. We're gonna have some fun with it. But at least we got a funny.
I don't give a shit.
At least we got a funny guy. Like, at least it's gonna be funny. I will concede that no matter what, it will be funny for the next few years. It'll be entertaining. I don't know, like how much we're gonna be able to do this and for how much longer, because if he's really gonna talk about censoring people that speak out against Israel, we're all kind of gonna be fucked. But until then, until they rip the jersey off us, find us on BitChute, everyone. We're over there.
Don't be rude.
Yes, we're over live on BitChute too now. INN, I set up a channel for BitChute. I set up a channel over on Blue Sky. I'll show you the link to that later.
No, get those lights off. Off.
No.
Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off.
What? No, I don't want. They're not bright at all. All right. They're not bright at all.
I'm gonna come.
So the other part of that story, like I said, was Conyers. And so I did a little bit of searching because nobody's really talked about what's happening in Conyers. And it's kind of hard to find news about it. Nobody wants to really talk about it, but I found this story out of the Emory Wheel, which is a local rag for sure. Rockdale County sues Biolab for repeated threats to community after chemical fire. Huh. How about that?
Mm.
Right. This was
For real? Damn, it must be true.
This was a week ago. And I didn't see, other than Ryan, anybody talk about this. Remember, this is the plume of smoke that came out after the Rockdale fire. All right. And that they mistakenly tried to douse with water, which made it worse because they didn't properly put the chemical on it that needed to put it out, which made it much worse. All right. Rockdale County commissioners launched a federal class action lawsuit against Biolab and its parent company, Kick Consumer Products, for damages to local citizens and companies.
Not to be confused with that other Kick.
No.
Or that other Kick.
No. The other Kick, we're trying to get to #1 on Kick streaming. Speaking of Kick.
I was talking about the Kick before then. People know what I mean.
Are you talking about like the breakfast cereal Kick?
No, that's Kicks. And this was Kick.
Right.
It was like a social media messaging thing, I think.
Gotcha.
Spelled the same.
The lawsuit, which was filed by commissioners on October 29th, came a month after a chemical fire erupted at the Biolab facility in Conyers, Georgia, about 6 miles from Oxford College. The Rockdale County commissioners filed allegations, including exposure to toxic chemicals, failure to warn the public, and significant environmental damage against the plant after the fire September 29th, which we talked about a couple of times, but specifically about Kenny Johnson. The Rockdale County commissioners are seeking a court order to permanently terminate the Biolab plant, and a petition to shut down Biolab has garnered over 10,000 signatures. And I believe I have the link here. No, that's the CNN article. This is the link to the petition, the change.org petition to take down the Biolab plant, to shut it down. What the hell you're going to do with it now that it's contaminated and had this chemical fire? I have no idea. Okay.
Probably children's playground, at least.
That sounds like on brand. Previous Biolab fires in 2004, 15, 16, and 20 led to evacuations, injuries, voluntary evacuations, and the shutdown of I-20, respectively. Okay. This has happened multiple times, and that's one of the things that Kenny Johnson talked about. By the way, Kenny Johnson, if you forgot, walked out of a courthouse after testifying and dropped dead. After telling everyone that they needed to get their blood tested and that this was a danger to everyone in the area who breathes this stuff, and they need to get the toxin, some kind of cocktail or drug.
Seems overly dramatic, Mr. Kinney.
May he rest in power, man. He waited his whole life for that job. Right. Rockdale County Commissioner Sherry Washington discussed the motivations behind the lawsuit at a press conference on October 21st. She said, quote, Biolab's risk to this community far outweighs any benefit that we could possibly glean from their operation in this county. Can't argue there. For 3 weeks, I've listened to the numerous physical, mental, and emotional tolls that this company's negligence has caused our residents, and we want them gone.
Gone.
Good luck. I mean, I wish you good luck, really.
Yeah.
A few days after the fire, the wind pushed the chemical smoke toward Emory's Oxford campus, causing classes to go remote. Isabel Slavin said she smelled chlorine smell across campus. Huh, I wonder why. It smelled not unlike a hotel pool, an indoor pool, where it was heavily chlorinated, but it was also kind of dusty at the same time. The ash wasn't to the point where it was difficult to breathe or anything, but I did wear a disposable mask while I was walking around outside of campus. KN95 or nothing. Like, Honestly, like, unless you're doing that, you're just fooling yourself. And even still, okay, but that was the other thing that I did, even though we never took them out of the box, was we ordered KN95 masks for the kids, just in case it really got bad with the smoke. And we were concerned. Now, I know for a fact that breathing in through those masks on an extended basis, unless you replace them and do what you're supposed to, the right thing, and they're sealed properly, they don't do what they're supposed to as advertised. It wasn't for me. Okay? And it wasn't going to be for any extended period of time, and they never came out of the box, thankfully. But
Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
getting back to Conyers, because this is really serious still. The chemical plume persisted for several days, causing low visibility on I-20 and leaving that chlorinated smell in the area. Right? According to the AJC, winds carried smoke into the southeastern metro areas of Atlanta, resulting in hazy skies and the chlorine odor.
Chlorine order.
The chlorine
Yes,
order.
welcome to the new chlorine order.
To the chlorine
Yes.
order, huh? Okay.
Yes, here we have our Tide Pod arrangement.
And the white helmets are somewhere nearby to frame Assad.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Who must go? Right. In an October 2nd
How do you think their helmets are so white?
Uh-huh.
What?
Yes, white phosphorus. That's correct.
I was thinking of chlorine, but sure.
Uh-huh. In an October 2nd email.
Hold on, let me smell your backpack.
Yep, that smells like weed.
Yep, definitely a lot of gas there.
Oh, we're sorry to make light of such a...
God, that would have been a great skit. I'm sorry, it would have been so good.
Of such a hilariously stupid narrative that people are still believing and trying to sell. Attic Esperian, among others. In the October 2nd email, Emory Communications informed Emory and Oxford students about the possibility of the chemical smoke drifting into Emory's campus as it spread across metro Atlanta. And due to wind, so we'll say to quote, due to wind and changes in weather patterns, communities across metro Atlanta, including their campuses, may see smoke and smell and odor over the next several days because of the Conyers Biolab fire. We know. So, what did you do about it? A lab conducted by the Georgia Institute of Technology atmospheric chemistry professor Greg Huey measured abnormal levels of chlorine, bromine, and other unknown chemicals present in the air. Dioxins! Unknown.
We don't know that yet. I mean, they're unknown.
Well, you can't know what you don't test for, is the famous saying of Dr. Scott Smith, who has tested for dioxins. So, Emory Environment Science Research Professor Eri Saikawa, who is a colleague of Huey, commented on the implications of these lab results. Quote, problem with this kind of fire is that we don't know what was really burnt, and so we have no clue what we were exposed to, because Biolab hasn't told us. He hasn't said that, but that's the rest of the sentence that's been said. Oxford Climate Reality Project co-president Ulla Larson said she's concerned about the chemical fumes effects on Emory's campuses. Naturally. Quote, the existence of the Biolab is a huge environmental threat to not only the county, but to the surrounding community like Emory and Oxford. In terms of an environmental perspective, it's important to terminate this facility. Now, imagine yourself being an out-of-state resident or an out-of-state student. You're 19 years old.
Right.
You've been going to Emory and or Oxford, paying an exorbitant amount of money to live there and go to school there. Do you transfer out? Do you stay home? what the hell do you've already paid your tuition for the year. You don't get
Sure.
refunded, but if you go, you could end up with breathing problems, like literally fucking breathing problems. Like, this is such a fucking trip that they put on these kids and a responsibility that they then have to deal with for the rest of their lives, potentially, that they don't even think about. All right. Because they're kids and they think they're going to live forever and nothing ever is going to affect them. And their parents don't know and necessarily in some cases can't stop them. Nor would they want to, because Emory's a great school. And they had remote classes temporarily. I don't know what they've done with this, but that doesn't last forever.
Is there a more important job than that of a teacher?
I don't know, Will Wright. I don't know, Will Wright.
I mean, where's the teachers' unions at on this? You know?
Well,
unsafe working conditions.
Yeah. So, Oxford Student Government Association Health and Wellness Chair Luca Perez said that while he agrees with the county's decision to file the suit, he is concerned about the possible economic effects that a closure would create because Biolab was the largest taxpayer in Rockdale County and employed 484 workers, making the pool and spa chemical facility Rockdale County's 8th largest employer. So they're literally like our other considerations. I don't want to do the read more, but I did want to also look at weeks after the Biolab fire, residents report chronic health issues like blurred vision, headaches, plus financial losses. Despite Biolab's promises of support, families feel left behind, facing fears of lasting harm and questioning their safety. All right. And even CNN has to admit it. That's a CNN article. All right. That'll all be in the description afterwards. Like I said, there's also this change.org petition to shut down the Biolab facility. Okay. I'll click on that. We'll take a look at what that says. They have all of 261 verified signatures. I will put the link to this also in the description afterwards, and I'll even drop it here in the
Kung flu.
No, not in the Kung flu. What are you doing in the
Never let anyone take your joy from you.
Yeah, that's the Biolab petition change.org thing that we can hook up and help these people out, because they could certainly use some love and some support. But due to their negligence, 17,000 evacuated. One family mere weeks from the birth of their first child has been afraid to return. I don't blame them. Survivors of the company's previous fire and new residents have banded together demanding the shutdown of the plant. County Commissioner already has the power to shut it down by revoking their business license. In fact, the county's own laws require them to do so. Right? So, God, I wouldn't want to be breathing that shit. And I would be freaking out myself. I got to be honest. We have gotten some new supporters, and we are eternally grateful for it.
Wow, incredible.
Yes. So we updated the slide. It's now called the Wall of Fame. We made some more room for more people to be able to be added to that wall because we were filling up pretty nice. Thank you so much for that. We are still a couple $100 away from paying off Zago for all of the illustrations, and that's going to be great when we do that.
Great success.
It has been a great success.